and crop it. You're probably gonna have to. You're gonna have to crop the sides. Just click it and then you can. Oh shit! They changed that. I'd like that one to be a bit more too, but you'd have to drop it. So, because those guys are like head, but mine are like all small. What? That's on the top thing? Oh, click the button. Click the X on it. That's probably my computer. That's my phone laptop. Get rid of that. Oh, you know what I need to do though? I need to do the comments on social because Teth doesn't do that anymore. I always forget that. So, what's the IP of the Cubic Social? So the 192.168.1, just so you know, for the future, everything in this entire office has that. So all I need is like glass frames. And here we go. Oh! Just testing, but it's working. Well, luckily we have a backup, right? As far as like checking the comments and stuff. Oh, no, it's on. It's on. Hello and welcome to HuddleCam HD Live. My name is Paul Richards, and today we're talking about educational instructional technology for the classroom. At HuddleCam HD, we've got lots of great, affordable, USB connected video communications equipment. Joining me, Tess Protesto, by the way, is coming in via Zoom. And how you doing, Tess?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here for our HuddleCam show.
I'm happy to have you, and Tess is joined by a bunch of great folks in our Zoom room. So if any questions come in on Zoom or YouTube, you're gonna let us know, right, Tess?
Absolutely. And if you want to join Zoom, you still can. If you go to huddlecamhd.com/show and fill out that form there, it'll give you the Zoom information. And there's a giveaway that you can do there as well.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Tell us about the giveaway, Tess.
Yes, we are excited to be giving away a HuddleCam HD webcam to one lucky winner. I believe there's not too many signed up too, so your chances are pretty good.
Great. So someone's going to win one of our HuddleCam HD USB connected webcams, and we'll be talking about that today in our presentation. Also with us is Stephen Haywood, our broadcast engineer, to answer any more technical questions, especially about the Simple Track 2, our auto tracking camera, which is a little bit more higher end tech there. So thanks for joining us, Stephen.
Thanks for having me, Paul. Appreciate it.
Cool, guys. Well, let's jump right into the presentation, and we're going to answer questions this whole time. So if anybody has questions, YouTube and Zoom are the places to ask, right? All right. So we've got a great presentation on instructional technology for hybrid classrooms here. We're reinventing the classroom here in the United States following, the pandemic, and 25% of professors are saying that they had a somewhat negative experience being rushed into distance learning, and now there is a big push to try to help, teachers have a more positive experience. So some of the technologies that are becoming popular in classrooms are auto tracking cameras, because they allow the teacher to not have to worry about where the camera's pointing. It just follows them anywhere they are at with the whiteboard or the blackboard. Zoom licenses are allowing teachers to have that control. And in K through 12, Zoom was nice enough to give away free Zoom licenses to all of the K through 12 schools out there. So that was really nice of them. People are using touchscreen monitors and interactive pens, along with lecture capture. And this is another side that we'll touch on today, which is the ability to record high-definition videos of the lectures and make them available for students to watch on demand. That's becoming a lot more popular. It's part of a flipped classroom that's become a standard across many school districts in the United States. Along with that, USB plug-and-play cameras. And that's really the heart of what we're going to be showing today. Simple to use with Zoom, with Google Classroom, with Google Meet. And then we'll touch on some of the higher end lecture capture systems as well that are being deployed in higher education. So in general, we're talking about classroom cameras. So audio and visual solutions to allow the students, whether it's a hybrid model, some students in class, some students at home, or anyone who wants to watch these recordings after the fact and be able to participate and remember what was talked about at home. So I want to start with the most affordable setup that we offer here at HuddleCam HD, which is the HuddleCam HD 3X. This camera starts at just $399, and a lot of schools pair it with our wireless USB 2.0 speakerphone, the Huddlepod Air. I want to show this camera off first. This is the HuddleCam HD 3X. It has a wide field of view and the ability to move around the classroom. So it can pan, tilt, and zoom. It's on its third generation of this camera. It's very popular in education. We have a little sidebar of information on this, if you want to show it, Mike, that shows some of the details. But essentially, it works great with Zoom. Let me show the back of it really quickly. And the back of it will show that there is a USB plug and play, so teachers can plug it right in, and it supports control inside of Zoom video conferencing. So teachers can give a trusted student access to control the camera inside of Zoom as well. The other product that we were looking at is the Huddlepod Air. This is a USB 2.0 speakerphone. You can plug it right into your computer. It works nicely with the Huddlecam HD. I mean, Mike, I worked so hard on the sidebars, man. They're right at the bottom of the production. Spent like a half hour putting those in. Oh, I don't have one for the 3X? Oh, do I have one for the Huddlepod Air? Oh, okay. So we'll have them for some of the products, but these two together are a great combination. Next in our presentation, so if you get those two together, it's less than $700. So a lot of K through 12 schools are looking for really affordable video communication solutions, and this is a super affordable one. Another one, which we have right here, is called the HuddleCam 3XA, and you'll notice that it looks almost the same as our 3X, except this time it's got built-in microphones. We've got two of them here, and it's perfect for small to medium-sized classrooms. Look at that beautiful sidebar. It has a plug-and-play USB 2.0 port there, so you plug it right in. It works, again, with the UVC control, which, if you're unfamiliar with that, allows Zoom to control the camera. So the pan, tilt, zoom, up, down, left, right, zoom buttons show up right in Zoom video conferencing, and we could test that out today, possibly, if you guys want. It has 3X and 10X optical zoom, depending on the size of the classroom, and it's all in one, right? Everything but a speaker, which a lot of schools use the speaker built into an LCD or a projector. So it starts at just $599, and the 10X is $899. So again, less than $1,000 to equip an entire classroom with video communications capabilities. Now, I wanted to show this just because we had a school district put in over 900 of these cameras because of how effective they are in small classroom spaces. You've got the optical zoom to be able to zoom in and show what the teacher's looking in across the room, but you also have that large microphone pickup range in order to capture the entire space so that students can catch up with that. So from a classroom camera perspective, we have kind of the more affordable options. Then we also have an auto tracking camera that is a little bit more popular for lecture capture, and I'd like to explain why. And then we'll take a look at the webcams. But my simple tracks right here, and I actually have one that we can demonstrate here as well. This camera is really used in higher ed more often, or some of the more higher end K through 12 schools. But it has a reference camera that can track where the teacher's going, and then a powerful 20x zoom camera that can zoom in up to 50 to 60 feet away to capture a teacher and all the details on a whiteboard. So this camera can be used with Zoom because it has USB, but it also has SDI, which is very popular for running a long cable length all the way back to like a lecture capture scenario. And of course, it can be remotely controlled via Ethernet. So we've got that camera here in the studio. We can show off how that works today. If people are interested, it's a great camera for capturing content. And I've actually got it right here. You can see it's set up to follow me. And if you're a professor, you can actually set it up so that it always captures the whiteboard space. And that has been really popular in education. We have this set up in a couple different areas, but it can be set up in a lot of different ways, and we can look at it if there's questions about it. But it has a lot of opportunities for capturing really engaging presentations. And one thing we've learned is that students need to be engaged when they're in that, viewing from home scenario. So it's become pretty popular. Now, the webcams we wanted to look at next. We have a good, better, best scenario on the webcam. Someone's going to win the HuddleCam HD. This is the HuddleCam Hd Hc Webcam 120, and it has a very wide field of view. And then we have the HuddleCam HD Pro, which is a step up. And I wanted to show this camera first. This, the HuddleCam HD right here, that is the regular webcam, has a USB 2.0. This is your regular standard webcam. But the HuddleCam HD Pro is 4K. So it gives the teacher the ability to zoom in and the ability to have what we call electronic pan tilt zoom. So my presentation here shows it in a art gallery. You've got the camera with a nice wide angle field of view, but you have the ability to not only zoom in, but set presets. So for teachers who are trying to create content from home, they have the ability to zoom into a whiteboard, into a blackboard. And this camera has been really popular. And I don't know if Stephen and Tess have been in contact with some of our customers or thought about some of the scenarios here, but it's been really popular, this camera, because people are looking for like a step up from the regular webcam experience, don't you think?
Absolutely. I mean, we have an influencer that we're working with who does podcasting and wanted something a little bit more complex than a webcam to be able to do some preset positions. We've had musicians use them as well. I can say that for sure, which is an interesting use case, to be able to have a preset on maybe a close-up of a guitar or something like that. And of course, there's the education and video conferencing element to it. That's a camera I'm using as well right now. I can zoom out a little bit if you'd like. It comes with the remote control. That's not as far zoomed out as it can go, but you don't want to see all of my kids' toys in here.
Well, Tess, since you've got it there, would you mind showing us what a preset is and maybe
Sure.
zoom into something and show us what that does?
Sure. So let's say I wanted to demonstrate this image. Okay, so I'm just going to simply use my remote control to press, well, this would be preset number 1. So you can see it said preset okay. I've set that preset. Then I'll go to my standard view. And then when I want to call it, I'll just press the number 1 again, and then the camera will switch to that preset. It's a matter of just pressing one button when you move the camera to the set position, and then pressing that button again to get back to that position. Very easy.
So this is electronic pan tilt zoom, which is a little different than optical pan tilt zoom. Optical pan tilt zoom allows you to actually get different viewpoints, whereas this webcam is just facing one way, but it really feels and operates like a pan tilt zoom camera, so it gives teachers a little bit more presentation capabilities. Cool. Well, let's keep rocking on then. The next things we wanted to share was the Huddlepod and our wireless Huddlepod Air solutions. We looked at this briefly. These are wireless speakerphones that allow you to plug a USB connection directly into your computer, just a simple USB connection, which is a lot easier for teachers to use and manage than Bluetooth. I don't know if you guys have used Bluetooth in the past, but you can pair something, it can unpair. It can be a difficult scenario where this has a single USB dongle. You plug it in, and then the pod we tried to make it have really simple, easy to use. Mute, turn the speaker off, turn it up and down, and from a volume perspective, and that's really all it does. It does have a wireless battery, so you can have up to 8 hours of battery life. And this is a dual pod, and then we have a single pod. So the dual pods are interesting. A lot of teachers are using a single pod at their desk and then a second pod to hand out to students and put on their desks to increase the audio quality that is happening in the classroom. So those are the Huddlepod Air solutions. They have everything you would need to really enable a classroom for high quality audio. I should mention that the Huddlepod, this camera actually includes a chat pod. So this is a wide angle camera. This has become pretty popular. It's like a webcam, but it's just one single USB connection to the teacher's computer for a camera and a microphone. And the wireless speakerphone can go anywhere in the classroom. So that really changes the game, because you could use that with a Chromebook, a MacBook. You just need one single USB connection. I believe this camera is only it's $499. So for less than $500, a camera and a wireless speakerphone for your classroom with everything you would need. So really like that camera. It's one of the popular ones. Now that we're on the Simple Track 2 again, I want to talk a little bit about how this camera is being used, and we can obviously demonstrate it today. But lecture capture, especially in higher education and some of the more high school level K through 12 classes, is becoming more important. And so in the presentation that I have here, I show the combination of a learning management platform, whether that be Blackboard, Moodle, Canvas. There's a lot of them out there, Kaltura. There's some really great ways to automate the ability of recording and posting lectures for a teacher into the learning management system. So if we go to this slide here that I have, you will see one scenario. This is actually one of our customers from, I'm blanking on the name now. It's on our website, Case Western University. They use a lecture capture solution called Echo 360, and it automatically schedules and publishes the lectures directly to the learning management system. So by including the Simple Track 2, which will automatically follow the teachers don't have to do anything. They walk into the room, their lectures are scheduled, the camera follows them around, the videos are published directly to their learning management system. What are teachers doing about audio? Well, you can have a wireless lapel, or you can have a all kinds of different audio systems. You can run those directly into the Simple Track 2, or you can run it directly into a lecture capture system like the Epiphan Pearl here, or the Echo 360 that we looked at. Stephen, you've had a decent amount of experience working with the Simple Track 2. In fact, a few of I think your church actually uses this as well. Do you have any tips for everybody on how to use the Simple Track and what it's able to do?
No, absolutely. I think that one of the things that you want to keep in mind and be aware of is a lot of people, think, oh, if I pointed at a TV screen or if I pointed at something that has a lot of movement, it really doesn't affect this. I mean, I've had it pointed at lights. I've done demonstrations where I've showed that the TV, motion backgrounds really don't affect it. So position the camera in a way that you can get a clear, optimal picture. We recommend, 50, 55 feet as a max. Doesn't mean it necessarily can't do more, but if you want that optimal quality in picture, that's definitely something you want to do. And set up your blocking zones. There's the software comes equipped with blocking zones. So if you have any question about will it pick up my students if they raise their hands, we have those blocking zones built in, Paul. So it's a great opportunity for teachers and college professors to get involved.
Yeah, and we didn't really talk about that. I'm glad you mentioned it. There's a setup software that allows you to really adapt the camera to almost any room, because every room's different. This camera does use a combination of motion tracking and facial tracking, so there's no need for IR beacons and different things that get lost. This is truly going to track. I have no lanyards on. There's some with lanyards and some with mat pads. It's literally just following the motion of my body, and it is also looking for two eyes, a nose, and a mouth. But the reason why there's motion tracking is if the two eyes and the nose and the mouth disappear, right, back of my head, it's still going to follow me. And you'll notice that the sensitivity that we have is nice and smooth. It's not panning super quick, and it's not moving every which way. You can adjust how quickly it pans, tilts, and zooms based on the teacher's specifications. And you can also adjust how far it zooms in. So for right now, we've got two Simple Tracks here. This Simple Track here is set up so that my head and my toes show up in this presentation area here. But then this Simple Track 2 here is more of a head and shoulders, or I guess torso up shot. So you have the ability to set up exactly how teachers want to be shown on camera, and the camera will follow them in that way. So there's a lot of functionality and flexibility with this camera. It's almost I think it is pretty much the highest end auto tracking camera I've ever seen. There are others out there, obviously. And this one has some really great functionality for looking good and working, perfectly every time once you set it up with the parameters that Stephen was talking about. So with that being said, it's time to open it up to Q&A, and then we've got a great giveaway. So I'll ask everybody, and then do you guys have anything you want to add before we go to the Q&A?
No, I think it was a great presentation, Paul. General overview of our best assets for education.
Awesome. Well, I also wanted to offer anyone in the Zoom session there, if you want to unmute yourselves, say hi, ask a question directly, now is your opportunity to do so. And then if you're on YouTube, I'll take a peek at the YouTube comments now and we'll ask any questions. Now, here is a question coming in from the College of Health and Human Sciences at SIUC saying, what was that lapel mic system? I'm glad you asked. I actually have it here. So I've been wanting to show this off for a while. It's a really cool little system. And this is called the Sarmonic Blink 500. It's brand new. And we've been testing it out with the Simple Track 2. So we can confirm that it definitely works. I'll zoom in and show this to you guys. This is a really cool system because it has one receiver and two transmitters. So this one here would be this is the receiver. This would be at the camera or at the lecture capture scenario. You can see they're really small. And this little system here actually charges it. So it's got a nice little case. It's only about $500. And then you've got two wireless packs there. Oh, look at that. It's blinking up and everything. We've already got it. Good job, Mike. It's already been charged and everything. So you've got two wireless lapels. And so that's a wireless system. And as you can see in the back of the Simple Track 2, I'll hold it up a little bit, there is an audio line in. So, and I don't even know if we mentioned there is an SD card there. So it can record directly to the camera, or obviously most schools are using it to record directly to a learning management system. And then the USB at times is actually used with Zoom. So this camera used with these Sarmonics or any 3.5 millimeter line level microphone can plug into Zoom and your camera and your microphone input in Zoom. So that's pretty nice. So just show that off.
We do have a couple questions in Zoom, Paul.
Okay, sure.
The first one is asking about the microphone radius pickup with the Huddlepod Air and the Air Duo.
Good question.
Do you happen to know that off the top of your head?
Yes, it is roughly a 12-foot radius, so 4 meters, and that's per pod. So if you have a small classroom, a single chat pod might not be enough. You can do the Duo, which is the dual pod. And just a tip while we're on these, a lot of the teachers that we've been talking to, they keep one at the desk always plugged in. They actually keep them plugged in pretty much all the time. It does have a battery in it, so when you're going to take it out and give it to a student or put it in the middle of the room, that's when you unplug it for the day. It's fully charged. You can leave it out in the middle of the room. And all of that happens over one single USB connection to your computer. So it's really simple for teachers to use.
So we can assume with the Duo, then you have more closer to 24-foot range.
Yeah, yes, that is true. But it wouldn't be a 24-foot radius. It would be two 12-foot radiuses.
Okay, so 12 by 20 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, great. The next question we have from Malcolm is, can the Huddle Pair components be secured for long-term installation in a classroom or shared conference room?
The Huddle Pair?
The Huddle Pair. So the Huddle Pair camera does have like a mounting screw on the bottom. So you could absolutely mount that to a mount or above a monitor.
So there, yeah, that's what Tessa's talking about there. We do have a 1/4-20 mount. So that is, some of the most security that schools today use is just a fastened 1/4-20 mount onto a wall mount. There are some times that schools will actually put a security camera mount or a security camera enclosure over certain cameras, like the Simple Track, just to secure them from theft and possible vandalism. So sometimes security camera domes will be used in educational and athletic departments. Will use them because there's balls flying. But yes, you're right, Tess. Just the 1/4-20 screw is pretty much the main security part there.
Got one more for you as well. Greg is asking, what's the transmission range and would it conflict with adjoining classrooms that are within 40 feet of each other using the systems? I assume that's talking back to the chat pods.
To the chat pod, yeah. So
Yeah.
the cool thing is it is using a 2.4 gigahertz spectrum. So it's much more reliable than Bluetooth. And the thing about it is it's a low powered 2.4 gigahertz. So we do not, we've never heard of any issues with using them classrooms right next to each other. Generally, the walls will block. It's point to point. It's line of sight. So line of sight within 20 to 30 feet is the recommendation, and confirm that with the data sheet that will have the FCC specifications for the wireless that's being used here. It's a 2.4 gigahertz wireless transmitter, and it is line of sight. So as long as you can see this, I mean, it could help possibly to tilt it a little, but it's not really necessary. 2.4 gigahertz spectrums will bounce off walls. So walls can actually, bounce the signal, but it can't go through the walls very well.
The College of Health and Human Sciences is asking, what about the zoom range for the HuddlePair camera?
So the HuddlePair does not have any zoom. It just has manual pan and tilt. So it really is a small huddle space. Libraries use these small spaces. It doesn't have any zoom at all. The HuddleCam HD Pro may be a better option in that regard if you do need some zoom, because it starts with a 4K sensor, as Tess was showing in her little studio there. It can zoom in up to 8x, and you can zoom up to 3x and still maintain a 720p video signal. And it does have 2 microphones built in here. We're getting some questions about this. It does not have a microphone input. It does have an HDMI output. And we've seen a lot of the more kind of tech-savvy teachers using the HDMI output, in fact, with like an ATEM Mini or a small HDMI video switcher. And this becomes a 4K HDMI video source with an IR remote control and PTZ camera presets. It's only $299. So it's been pretty valuable in that regard as well.
Roger, were you going to bring that up?
I'll bring it up on the screen, but I'll let you read it.
Great. Roger is saying, when or can the HuddleCam Pro please get a Kensington locking point? I don't know what that is, so Paul, you'll have to explain.
I know what that is, and that is a great idea. Man, that is a great idea, and I'm gonna need to bring that up with the engineers. A Kensington locking point is a standard locking connector in the industry that is difficult to break because students cannot just remove them. So I'm going to write that down before I forget.
It's like a physical element. It's not like an IP thing.
Are you familiar with that, Stephen, the Kensington lock?
I've heard of it, but I really have had never any use for it. So, and in my productions, but I could see where it would be beneficial for schools to lock it down.
Well, Stephen is actually on our product team, and he's one of the members. So, Stephen, can you bring that one back to them?
I made a note of it as you were speaking, so I'll bring it up with the team and see what their thoughts are on it. But it definitely sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, it would require a mold change, so that's not something that's going to happen overnight. Right. But I really want to make that recommendation. It's just a super durable metal connector that it's difficult to break, so that you can put like a metal piece of I'm going to say braided metal wire to connect it down to something that would be very secure.
Right. A lot of bicycles sometimes use that type of system to lock it to a bike rack and things like that. So it's definitely something that might be doable. So.
I see a question coming in. What was the name of the tracking camera that you mentioned? That is the Simple Track 2, and it's on our website. And we did a little demonstration of it. Mike loves me to be the Vanna White here, but this is it. We're just using it here. This is a great auto tracking camera. We have 2 of them set up here, and we can kind of show it in more detail if there are questions about it, but it's the Simple Track 2.
John has the HuddleCam HD USB webcam. He cracked the base clamp. Oh no. And it's not sitting straight up on the tripod anymore. Can it be replaced?
That is something that we would have to talk to support about. It seems possible, but I cannot say. I really can't, because I don't want to get in trouble about this. It seems possible. If you submit a support ticket at help.huddlecamhd.com and explain that, I just don't know the full answer, but it may be possible. Our support team would know about that.
Yeah, they do have a warranty, the webcams, but I'm not sure what would fall under the warranty with something like that.
Yeah, there's a 5-year warranty on the webcams. So it does have a 5-year
warranty for a little webcam.
Yeah. In fact, someone's going to win a webcam pretty soon here. So we're almost at the giveaway if there's no more questions.
Okay, I do have a comment I'm reading in Zoom right now. First off, John is asking if Simple Track 2 has NDI.
Oh, good question. Stay tuned for that, because a lot of people have been asking about it. So I think I don't want to get in trouble, but I'll just say we know that you guys want it, and we are working on it. Right, Steven? That's about all we can say.
We'll get back to you on that one.
Stay tuned. Hit the subscribe button. There's probably going to be a notification coming soon. That's all we'll say.
I'll read you this little analogy Bob shared with us. You've heard of the teacher that recorded all her classes on a cassette. She got her tape stolen from the recorder. So she had everybody close her eyes, and whoever stole it could return it. No questions asked. Once she opened her eyes, the tape recorder was also missing.
I agree. And you know what?
Students.
They're pesky, and there's lots of students everywhere. Trust is important, but it's not everywhere. Jonathan is asking, can the Huddlecam USB webcam display concurrent video signals, HDMI and USB? Yes, it can. In fact, you should know that the USB connection has some superpowers or special features. The USB function, it does give the camera power. So if you want to use it with the HDMI, you got to plug in the USB. You don't have to plug it into a computer. You just got to plug it into something, a USB power brick. The USB also allows you to control the camera. So if you don't feel like using the remote control, you can use our free software to control the camera with the software. Also, some software like Zoom video conferencing allows you to control the camera over the USB port. So the USB has a functionality called UVC, Universal Video Codec, that does include control with the video. So, and we answered this question about the Simple Track 2 getting NDI. Man in Black, let me ask you a question. If you had NDI on the Simple Track, how would you use it? Because that's what I want to know more about. We know you guys want it, and we are working on it. It's closer than you think, possibly. Can't say exactly. Probably get in trouble. But how would you use it? That would be valuable to us to know. How would you use NDI on the Simple Track 2?
Are you ready for the giveaway?
Let's do the giveaway.
Okay, let me pull it up here, and we are drawing a winner. The giveaway, I believe, is over. For future giveaways, you can always check out HuddleCamHD.com/show. Our first winner is James Creer or Crier. We'll go with Creer, and I'm putting that in the chat.
All right. So yeah, you do need to be watching live in order to claim the prize. So we do want to make sure people are here. So someone here is going to win. If James isn't here, we'll pull another winner.
You can answer this question while we're drawing winners. On the HD Pro, where are the IR sensors?
That's a good question. It's definitely on the front, and there is a light on the HuddleCam HD Pro here. the light turns on when it's in use, which is a feature that is supported with Zoom and Skype. And anytime that Windows or Mac decides to use the camera's video feed, the light does turn on an indication light. But it's a good question because I know that it has an IR remote. I use it all. You were just using it, Tess. I don't see the IR receivers.
I see the power indicator. Looking at it right now.
It's got to be on the front. It has to be on the front. I don't know how they made it invisible.
My next winner is Rick Romero. Are you here, Rick Romero?
Rick Romero, are you here?
Also checking the Zoom chat. So many chats. Lindsay, feel free to speak up in Zoom for me if you see somebody claim the prize in Zoom.
So Man in Black would like to use the NDI for a camera, auto tracking camera in his church. That actually makes a lot of sense.
Laura Seal. I did see Laura Seal earlier in the chat. Are you still here?
We're going to be giving away the HuddleCam HD webcam. This is the little privacy cap that comes on
Laura
top.
is here.
Laura's here. Congratulations, Laura. You can send your contact information to Tess over here. And
Yes,
Tess,
please.
Tess will get that shipped out for you ASAP.
I'll chat my email.
Now you just need to put Steven up there and we'll have the whole team and then everyone in the Zoom session. Well, thank you so much.
Sorry, I'm just reading questions still. There's no privacy cover for the HD Pro. There is for our regular webcams.
Yeah, I thought about that. I was just thinking about that. I was like, this one doesn't have the privacy cap.
There I am.
Maybe something to think about, Stephen. We could put that on our list. Well, that's our show, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. This has been HuddleCam HD Live. We go live once a month, so hit the red subscribe button if you're on YouTube. You can also sign up for show notifications via email at huddlecamhd.com/show. We're going to be giving a webcam away every month when we do these live shows. So thank you for taking the time to learn a little bit about our educational offerings, and then we'll do something new next month. Let us know what you think. Email me, email Tess. What do you guys want to learn about? And is there anything else, guys, before we wrap the show up?
Good to go.
All right. Thank you, everybody.